Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk about the nicest thing that happened to me in Taiwan. So essentially, what happened was that I had moved to a new place and I was waiting to get my deposit back from my old landlord. And if you don't know, when you rent in Taiwan, you usually pay like 2 months up front, and from there, once you don't renew your lease or whatever, you will get that 2 months back, barring that you didn't like damage the apartment or anything. So I waited almost like a month and a half to get the money back. And I finally asked my landlord, who was also my coworker, like, hey, when am I going to get my deposit back? And he said to me, well, you didn't pay a certain month, so you're not going to get a deposit back. So what he was referring to that weird month that some of us foreigners have when we go home. And so some of us don't pay for August until we get back. But since most of our rent is due at the beginning of the month, sometimes we pay it late, or we just wait till the next month and just pay like a double rent or whatever. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up paying late and also paying September. Now, I had moved, so he had taken my pink book, so I couldn't show or whatever needed to be shown that, hey, I did pay that. Then what made matters worse was that he had pulled me into the office on a certain day or something, and some of my coworkers who were not part of the incident were witnessing this incident. And not only that, there was a new military person who spoke English, and he was kind of saying what the manager was telling me. So then, to put cherry on top of everything else, one of my other coworkers who I thought I was like really close with, he like defended the Taiwanese mail, even though he wasn't there for when I paid what I paid. So I realized that I was fighting a losing battle, and I loved the school that I worked with, and up until this point I loved every single coworker that I worked with. So for me, I said, well, I can always replace money. It's not like me not getting this money back is going to make me poor for the rest of the month. So I said, you know what? Let it go. It's okay. Fine. And that whole entire interaction, I didn't yell. I didn't call anybody a liar. I didn't do anything. I just said, okay. That's once he said, no, but you did it. I said, but I did. No, you didn't. Yeah, I did. After that, I said, nope, that's enough. He thinks that I didn't pay, and I'm not going to press him about this. So I felt like really crappy about the situation. I felt crappy because, you know, the person that really didn't know what happened was quick to defend another person, basically because they were Taiwanese. And it was just like a really horrible feeling. And so I went home and I was just like completely upset. My co-teacher, bless her heart, she was just like, she saw how like sad I was, that basically I was accused of, not telling the truth essentially. And she was like trying to help and say, let me let my husband talk to him. Like, let's let them talk together. And I told her, no. Just stay out of it. I don't want to ruin any relationship that your husband and he have. I was like, it's okay. I said, money can be earned again. A friendship that is broken, or relationships that can be broken sometimes cannot be. And so I could tell like she just felt very unsettled about this whole entire situation. So that night I was, talking to like a former friend, another former friend of mine. And I believe I was kind of telling him kind of what happened or something. And all of a sudden I got a message from my landlord. And he said, I went back and I looked at my records and I see that I do owe you money. It was an accounting error that, me and my wife had made. And I was just like, oh my goodness. And, he said he was sorry through the message. And then, he put like, we use little stickers for this app called Line. And he showed the app sticker of him bowing and saying that he was sorry. And I was just so relieved. I was just so relieved that, he actually went back and looked, and that I wasn't viewed as being a liar or tried to be viewed as a thief. That's what I was relieved of. Like, I was like, F that $8, $9, $10,000, like just I'm just so happy that the truth, you guys figured out the truth, which was that I was telling the truth. And so I was just so happy. And so then he showed me a snapshot of something that was on Facebook. And I was like, oh, I don't know what that means, because by then I really hadn't really started learning Chinese characters. So I was just like, I don't know what any of this means. So then later on that night, the coworker who had sided with the Taiwanese, my landlord, my former landlord, he sent me an apology saying, like, I am so sorry. He was just like, I was like, well, what are you sorry for? He's like, because I didn't trust you. I didn't believe you. And even though that hurt in a way, it made me feel so good that he was just so honest about why he didn't come to my aid. Because that's one thing sometimes that happens here, is that, you know, Taiwanese people sometimes don't want to cop to their mistakes, because this is about this thing of face, and they don't want to lose face, because to lose face sometimes means that you'll be isolated from people and you'll be outside of the group. And the fact that he just was just like, you know, this is what happened and this is why I did that, I don't know, it just made me feel like really good that he was just being honest with me. And I just told him, you know, it's okay, like, let's just let it go, let's just move forward. And the next day I was telling my actual best friend, who was Taiwanese, like, you know, what happened. And then I showed her the picture that he snapped on Facebook. And she just kind of went, oh my gosh. And I said, well, what happened? And she said, Ashley, this has a Facebook group. And he put on the Facebook group that because I made a mistake, I made, you know, our teacher, you know, I made Miss Elam, you know, very upset. And I'm sorry for causing her this distress. And he put that there for the entire school to see. And at that point, I was just, the night before I was so happy, but when he did that, I just literally cried. Like, I cried in front of my best friend. And I was just like, because even she was impressed, because he didn't have to do that. He was older than me. He was a male. He was an older Taiwanese male, and I'm a younger foreigner female. And for him to just go and do that extra mile of saying, like, I, you know, messed up, and he did it in front of our coworkers, it just, I don't know, it just really touched me to the point where I was moved to tears, because that's all I have sometimes in Taiwan, is my word, and people knowing that I have a good character. That's sometimes the only thing I have at the end of the day. And so if anybody ever tries to kind of mess with it, I always feel like it makes me feel bad if anybody is thinking that I'm not a woman of my word, or that I would sit there and lie about something like that, like, you know, something about a huge sum of money. So that was the nicest thing that ever happened to me. And the next day, everybody in the school was super nice. And my co-teacher was just like, well, how are you feeling? And, you know, do you have bad feelings to him? And I just said, no. I said, because I never thought that he was trying to cheat me. I never thought that he was ever trying to cheat me. I really, truly think that he believed that I did not pay when I was supposed to pay, because that was a crazy time when I was giving him money, and I think we were all in the middle of doing something. I said, so that was a very crazy time, and I don't believe at all that he tried to cheat me at all. So I was like, and not only that, I cannot even continue, if I even wanted to have bad feelings toward him, I can't even keep doing it, because number one, he apologized to me. He didn't make any excuses, not like that anyway. He accepted that responsibility. And then he went the extra mile and showed everybody, you know, at that school, like, I messed up. I caused distress. I made a mistake that, you know, could have upset, you know, our coworker. He didn't have to do that, but he did that. And sometimes being in Taiwan, you see that a lot. Like, some people are just being completely prideful and not wanting to admit they're wrong, or just try to dance around instead of admitting that they're wrong. And that also happens, like, in a lot of places, but in Taiwan, it's way more, it can get kind of ridiculous sometimes. I'll just put it like that. So that was actually that was the nicest thing that ever happened to me in Taiwan. The thing that just touched my heart the most was that incident right there. And that's all I have to say. Like I said, a frown turned into a smile. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.